If there's one thing about me, it is that I love cannibalism in all forms. I love it. And who else loves cannibalism? It's Trin Lovell.
Trin Lovell loves cannibalism. Shout out to all my cannibals.
This is a cannibalism safe space. Unless you want to eat one of us, and then the answer is no.
Yeah, the answer is absolutely no. You wouldn't even want my body. We both have tattoos. Apparently, that means we're like tainted.
True. Oh my God. They did say that in Fresh, right?
Apparently, according to Jeffrey Dahmer himself, he said that he did not eat people with tattoos because apparently they tasted different. Now, could that be a fable? Could that be a myth? Maybe.
Thank you so much to Curology for sponsoring today's video. I have loved using Curology for years now. In the summer, I am just more prone to breaking out than I am in the winter. I tend to sweat a lot more, I'm wearing a lot more sunscreen, and I'm also not the best when it comes to not picking at any type of pimples that I have that come up. Anytime I get a breakout, I do have a strong urge to pick at my skin, which then does leave me with scarring, which can leave me with more acne, more red marks, and that's why I'm so grateful that I've been using Curology, getting my skin back in check. This is my custom formula. As you can see, she is worn because I do use her. All I had to do was go onto Curology's website, send in some photos of my skin, tell my dermatology provider some of my skin concerns and needs, and then my dermatology provider provided me with a prescription that works for my skin. And anytime that I feel that my skin is changing or evolving or I have different needs, I can just contact my dermatology provider again on Curology's website, let them know of any changes with my skin and any changes that I would like, and I can get a new customized Curology formula sent right to my door. I also love Curology's emergency spot patches. Not only do these help me by not picking at my skin because I'm quite literally covering them up. This guy I've been struggling with for a while. But I can just pop one on onto cleared skin. The hydrocolloid patch absorbs all the pus and oil. As we're leaning into the colder months, I know my skin is going to change along with the seasons. And so I feel really good about knowing that I can just go onto Curology's website and adjust my customized formula if I need to. If you guys want to start your Curology journey today, just make sure that you click the link in my description. Subscription is required and subject to consultation. Thank you, Curology! If there's any person that I would want to collab with for the Chronically Online Girl series, it is Trin. I absolutely love Trin's videos. Trin is the reason that I got into commentary when it comes to movies and TV shows in the first place. So if you fucking hate them, then blame Trin. Sorry.
Has anyone else been featured in a Chronically Online?
This is my very first collab ever, like with another YouTuber. End of story. I've never collabed with anyone ever else. I was like, oh, but if there's anybody I do want on my channel, it's Trin. It's absolutely Trin.
I feel so honored to be here. It's so cool. I've always wanted to see this in person.
If you guys want to watch us discuss the adult timeline of the Yellowjackets, which I fucking love Yellowjackets. If you know me, then you know that I love Yellowjackets. I binged that shit. I've watched it multiple times. I cannot love something just a little bit. I have to love something a lot of it. I have to be unhealthily obsessed with everything that I get into. Yellowjackets is no exception to that. Over on Trin's channel, we did a fun little video where we talked about the adult timelines, our opinions, our thoughts. We reacted to some clips. So go make sure to check that out because that will be out when this video is out. I was very passionate about wanting to do the teen timeline of everything that happens in Yellowjackets because a lot of people do wish that Yellowjackets just existed in the teen timeline and the teen realm because it is so juicy and interesting. But you know, we do go back and forth because there is this like adult timeline set. It can be a little bit confusing and there is a lot of lore to it. So don't you dare say, what's the lore? Go watch the show. I don't care. Watch this too. Duh. In 1972, the Uruguay rugby team that was traveling to Chile for a game when their plane crashed in the Andes Mountains was actually the reason that Yellowjackets was made and created into a show because that is what it is inspired by. I'm gonna put this right out there from the very beginning. If it meant for my friends to survive out in the wilderness and my body is there, I'm already dead, and like they're like, shit, do we eat her? Like this is a means of survival. I say do it because what's gonna happen to me anyway? I'm gonna rot.
Nicole will let people eat her body and I'm gonna be the one to do it.
This show gave me terrible nightmares for a period of time. Like I binged it, so that was my first mistake. I don't know what they are able to do, but something about Showtime is very sinister and evil because they are allowed to show so much blood and gore. So basically the timeline jumps back and forth between 1996 to present day. So I am covering the 1996 timeline. The entire show starts off with us wondering who the hell is Pit Girl. Pit Girl is a girl who literally falls onto a spike trap, falls to her death in a pit. You are left wondering, who the hell is Pit Girl? Which one is she? And that is kind of like the basis of Yellowjackets, is that you're slowly playing this guessing game of who is alive and who isn't. Who do you think Pit Girl is?
Is it supposed to be a surviving girl? Like, is it supposed to be a girl that like is alive in the timelines?
Some people think that. Some people think that Pit Girl survived somehow.
Maybe Pit Girl is the Antler Queen?
Pit Girl is the friends that we made along the way.
Some people call me Pit Girl.
We do know that Pit Girl has this little golden yellow heart necklace. And so as you're watching this show, you kind of watch this sisterhood of the traveling necklace get passed around to people, and you're like, fuck, is she gonna be Pit Girl? And that's like kind of the excitement about it all. You start off this movie and you're like, oh, this is about a cult in the woods. You think that it has nothing to do with the girls. Spoiler alert, they are the cult.
They're the founders. They're the founding fathers.
And there's one thing that teenage girls know how to do, be in a cult.
Mary-Kate makeup, like.
I am not a person who's like, oh, I could never be in a cult. Like, I can fully see myself falling down the pipeline of going into a cult.
The pipeline of like us being indoctrinated to a cult and accepting of cannibalism is like a really slippery slope.
So in May 1996, a girls soccer team in New Jersey makes it to nationals. Yay. This is Jackie. We had to watch this like painfully long season of like Jackie's boyfriend not being able to get her off. Worst scene to watch with my mom ever, but like I was like, Mom, you're gonna love this.
No, like actually, Mom, you're gonna love it. Like just you have to get through the part where he like can't make her finish. Like you'll love it, I promise.
Jackie is popular, she's beautiful, she's the soccer team captain. And who else is wearing this little gold heart necklace that we also saw on Pit Girl in the beginning? Jackie. Suspect number one of who is Pit Girl and who died in the very beginning is Jackie. Shauna and Jackie are best friends. We see Shauna picking up Jackie for school that morning while Jackie's boyfriend Jeff is like sneaking out the window, and Shauna's like, oh my god, how annoying. And Jackie and Shauna are best friends or lovers.
Leave a comment down below if you're a shipper. I don't know about that.
They're gonna live in the same college dorm, which could mean nothing.
They can just be roommates.
So we see flashbacks throughout the adult timeline of them remembering certain trauma from their time in the woods. Now this is Nat. Every single TV show has to have like the burnout trope.
Like she's giving I like complex female characters as fuck. Like
if you are a girl who has ever gotten a shag or a wolf cut or any type of alt haircut, you have come to your hairstylist with a photo of her from Pinterest and been like, please give me her. Allie is a freshman on the team who is not very much so an important character. However, it is important because she sucks ass. Thaisa wants to freeze her out, basically make her feel like she has to work for her spot on the team. Lottie and Thaisa are discussing the fact that they want to basically make her work harder during a scrimmage. So literally like a practice run. So Thaisa then decides to stick her leg out and trip this freshman Allie, breaking her leg. We also get introduced to Misty. You guys may not know this, but the person who was originally cast to play Coach Scott, Ben Scott, was Trisha Paytas. Unfortunately, due to like some scheduling issues, there were some issues with that.
You're dumb.
You know what I had to do to get this photo from CVS? Like literally, I'm like, they lost it. They lost this one photo of Trisha.
That one?
They lost it, and I was like, please, it's so important. I was like, I need it. We also get introduced to Misty and Coach Ben, who Misty is absolutely in love with. Instantly when Allie is injured and her leg is literally poking out, Misty comes to the rescue and like immediately plays nurse. Like she is not squeamish at all. Like she wants to be helping, which Coach Ben is like, Misty, fuck off. She's like the manager of the soccer team. So Shauna and Jackie decide to go out that night because it's tradition before nationals that they all go to this huge party. They're having this cute little moment and talking about each other's like strengths and complimenting each other after this huge fight breaks out between Shauna and Thaisa, where Shauna is like, Thaisa, you're a fucking bitch for breaking Allie's leg. So Jeff, who's not on this wall because I'm not printing out a picture of a man. That's the last thing that I'm gonna do, even though there's like a few men on this wall. Teenage Jeff takes home Shauna and Jackie from the party. Keep in mind, Jeff is Jackie's boyfriend, but Jackie asked to be dropped off first. He drops Jackie off at home. As they're driving, Shauna's like, all right, Jeff, pull over. They pull over. What do they start doing? Hooking up. Jeff is like, what? I thought we were gonna do this again. Again? Oh my God. Again? Shauna and Jeff fuck in the car. And Shauna is like sitting there and she's like, tell me you love me. Tell me you love me.
Oh my God, she's shy and she's like, you know, Jackie's the popular one and Jackie has the boyfriend, and immediately switch to like, oh, she might be clinically insane.
And then that morning, Jackie was literally talking to Shauna about how like Jeff is a virgin. She's like, yeah, like he's totally a virgin. Like we've been together since freshman year. Laura Lee, who is not on this wall, Sorry, Laura Lee. Okay, Laura Lee doesn't last long, okay? I'm not gonna print her out if she doesn't last long. Sorry.
And we're not talking about the freaking YouTuber.
I think about that every single time Laura Lee is brought up. I'm like, oh my God, all I can think about is like the crying video. While we're like watching the glimpses into everyone's home life, you know, before they go on the plane, we see Lottie in this like beautiful house, like very much so coming from a rich family and having a maid who's like giving her medication for the day, which is a very, very crucial and important part of the show. Van over here slaps her mom awake while her mom is sleeping on the couch. Of course, we see Sammy Henratty, Misty, watching a little rat swim around in her pool. Congrats, Sammy Henratty, on the baby. She's 4 months pregnant. We also see Coach Martinez, the main coach, not Coach Ben, being the father to both Javi and Travis. And they're all going on this trip. And they're like little fucking assholes because they're like so annoyed that they're going on this trip. Hello, you get to go on a free trip on a private plane. So maybe be a little bit grateful. Thank you very much.
The fact that they're on a private plane, by the way, is kind of crazy. I don't know. I traveled when I was a kid for like national competitions, and like the highest you can get is a bus.
I know, it was because Lottie's dad paid for a private plane.
That's kind of like a known common statistic that majority of plane crashes happen on private.
On the plane, Jackie gives Shauna the gold heart necklace so that nothing can touch her. And she also gives her the greatest gift of all, a Valium. It's no wonder that Shauna was like knocked the fuck out when this plane was crashing because she was on a Valium. This is not a show that you should watch before like flying somewhere. This accident is like very fucking bad. Like we see people get impaled. Like there's people fully on fire. Like I was surprised that they were even allowed to show this on like a streaming network because like it is graphic. Van over here gets trapped in the back. She can't get out from her seat. Shauna's trying to save her and Jackie's like, no, we have to go. No. Leaving poor little Van behind. Misty over here, the only thing that she is worried about in this entire scenario, she also wasn't panicking nearly as much as she should have been. She might have also has taken a Valium, like truly. But she was like searching for Coach Ben. Like, where the fuck is Coach Ben? Coach Ben.
Where the fuck is Ben?
He is all the way over yonder with a whole ass piece of plane. I don't know how else to say it, like a whole ass wing, a chunk of the plane on top of him. All the girls get together to like take this chunk off of him, only to realize like there is like nothing left of his leg. Misty, being the beautiful, powerful nurse that she is, takes the emergency axe and chops his leg off. And that is like the outfit that I recreated for Halloween with the blood all over her face. Like she's so excited. She's like, yay, like I get to play doctor. Like she is so pleased with herself.
Like I saved him. I actually saved him, guys. Like, is anyone gonna applaud me?
And Misty is the reason that all of these bitches are alive. Like we should be thanking Misty at the end of the day. And also blaming Misty, but that's another story.
She's like the reason that they are alive, and then she's like a reason that some of them are dead.
She shows that women can be multifaceted. You can be the reason for someone's life, and you can be the cause of someone's death. And that's what I love about shows like this, is showing that women are multifaceted beings. For the first time, she's important as a manager on this team, and she recognizes that. Like, she is going around, like, dressing people's wounds, like, literally, like, tying tourniquets and everything. And when somebody asked her how she knows how to do this, she's like, I literally took the Red Cross babysitting training class. Everyone's dead. The pilots are dead. There's teammates that are dead. Coach Martinez is dead. Like, he is literally impaled onto a tree. Dead. He's gone. There are some theories that people think that he lived and Travis trying to climb on the tree to like save his dad. Apparently that's what killed him because the branch ended up falling down and that's what killed him. That man would not have survived.
He was like the oldest. He had like the least likely chance of surviving such an injury.
That's when in the show the symbol starts appearing that we see everywhere in Yellowjackets. If you are a person who has gotten this tattooed on you because you're a Yellowjackets fan, you may not be the brightest. I don't think that anybody should get any symbol tattooed on them until you know fully what it means.
I can't imagine that the symbol they are sending to them as like a death omen is good.
We do see Lottie rationing her medication, which is so important. She realizes that she only has a few pills left. We don't realize what the medication is. Like, we never find that out. But she has to like look at them and be like, fuck, like I'm running low. Food is also running low. Misty, being the great nurse that she is, solderizes Coach Ben's leg. This is why, though, Misty is one of my favorite characters, because she is a crazy ass bitch. And I do support women's in their rights and in their wrongs, even if their wrongs mean breaking the emergency location transmitter. Misty decides to go out in the middle of the night and smash it against a rock because Misty loves feeling important. I would have done the same thing if I felt important, and you would have done it too. Oh my God, sue her. We wouldn't have a show if she didn't break the transmitter. The day after the plane crash, there's a funeral for all the people who weren't able to make it. We do see 18 people in the funeral scene surrounding the graves, suggesting that there are 19 survivors in total in Yellowjackets. You do see characters kind of going in and out between the two seasons, but there are supposed to be this, main core group and 19 total survivors initially after the crash. Things start to get tense after they're lacking food and water, so they all decide to make a trip down to the lake. At the lake, the girls are like, oh my God, Travis is like kind of cute, because that's what forced proximity will do to you. Oh no, we were in a plane crash and like there's only one boy our age. Oh no.
They airport crushed him. We've seen him this entire time. That's literally Coach's son, and now we're like, that's Coach's son? Airport crash turned into airplane crash.
That's beautiful, Trin. That would happen to me too. Even though Travis is a huge fucking dickhead, like because he's the only guy close in our age range, I'm like, oh my God, wait, you're kind of cute. Wait.
I'm like, wait a second. Like, oh my God. Like, he's like hunting and gathering. I'm like, smash.
He's mean. I'm
Smash.
like, oh, smash. The girlies do find a cabin in the woods, find a little corpse in the attic, and they're like, oh shit, this probably belonged to this man. This is cabin guy's house. Around episode 4, everyone starts getting PTSD nightmares. Same, I can relate. Nat's having nightmares about seeing her dad's head blown off, which we will like later see, like not the actual doing of this all, but like, the leading up to it. This is where Lottie starts to act like a little funky. Lottie is awake, staring at the attic. They also find a gun in the cabin, which Travis starts playing with. Smash.
Smash. He playing with a gun. He don't even know how to use it.
And it's decided that somebody has to learn how to use the gun so that they can actually, eat and get food. This clearly brings up some trauma then for Nat, who has had some issue clearly around guns, and her father. We do see in a flashback scene that her father does try to beat up her ex-love interest, her ex-boyfriend, in her bedroom. Close enough. Welcome back, Lily Blossom Bloom, I guess. Every girl takes a turn with being steady with the gun. Like, they put a little quarter on it, and then they see if, there's a... I don't know gun talk. I love to pretend that I know what I'm talking about when it comes to guns. I have no fucking idea.
Born and raised in Dallas, don't know a damn thing.
Shauna keeps a diary of everything that starts happening in the wilderness. And once again, just exactly like Lily Blossom Bloom vibes, just minus Ellen DeGeneres. I also do have a picture of Ellen DeGeneres right here. I kept her right over here just for this moment. Nat and Travis are absolutely killing it and are so good with handling the gun. So they are basically chosen as the people who will be the hunters and the gatherers. Lottie sees one of the symbols in the trees again, and in that moment, the girls find a plane that is stranded there in the middle of the woods. So kind of you start to see this pattern of, oh, the symbol is seen. Oh, something happens. Really, it's only Lottie at first who is seeing this symbol. Like, I am no better than Lottie, okay? Like, I can sit here and shit on Lottie all I'm the same person. Like, I was the same way. I saw 11 everywhere. I was like, oh my God, it's a sign. Oh my God, 1111, it means something. Laura Lee, not Laura Lee the YouTuber, but Laura Lee, the Christian, starts talking about how this must have been the dead guy's plane and how, he probably used this to go and come back. Lottie starts referring to this it entity and saying that it did not want him to leave. Travis decides to take Nat back to the plane site crash when they're supposed to be hunting, which is when he goes, do you even know why people call me Flex as a nickname? Because apparently everyone calls him Flex. I was dumbfounded at this scene because of just how fucking stupid it was. He says when he was in the 7th grade, he had a spinal surgery for a fusion, and when he went to school, Bobby Farley told everyone that he had to get one of his ribs removed so that he could be flexible enough to suck his own dick. The fact that he is like, I have trauma from this, from being called Flex. Like, own that shit. Be like, yeah, I do suck my own dick. And what about it?
That's so funny because it's like all the other girls have such intense lore, and then he reveals that, and then we're like, are we supposed to give a fuck? And it Flex to the unsuspecting person is kind of a chill nickname.
Exactly.
They weren't like suck his own dick guy.
Travis decides that he wants to unbury his father. He wants to dig his dad up because there's a ring on it that he's like, damn, I didn't think this through. Like, I buried my dad with his ring on. So Nat takes one for the team and cuts his dad's finger off so that he can get the ring, which is so kind and sweet of her. At the end of the day, though, it all worked out because they did hunt a deer and were able to bring it back, which Shauna then was able to bleed out. She is now like the certified bleeder outer. Then we lead into episode 8, which Misty is absolutely crazy and walks in on Coach Ben sleeping, when she does have a boner, which he then does yell at her because she does try to touch it. She has the funniest role. Like, I literally, like, I wish I was Sammy Hanratty. Like, I'm not joking. Like, I would do anything to be able to play a role like her, like this creepy little freak.
Who's gonna match her freak?
I know, truly, nobody's there to match her freak, except I would.
They kind of like just accept her freak. They don't match it, they accept it.
No, truly. So everyone now on the team has cramps, and everyone's periods are now all synced up because, like, that happened. That is like crucial to television where women are in close proximities. All their cycles will sync.
Like, has it happened to anyone in real life?
That's never happened to me. So Jackie can't do shit. Jackie is useless. Everyone is out here like doing some sort of task. You know, like I said, Shauna's like gutting and bleeding out the animals and cooking them and whatever. Jackie can barely even get like a pail of water. She's like sitting there playing on her Walkman. And people are starting to notice and be annoyed with her.
Like, who's gonna contribute to the tribe? You're not contributing with the shelter, the food, or the washing.
Fuck Jackie.
What the fuck are you here for?
Right. So Shauna decides to be a good friend in that moment. For once, she decides to be a good friend, and she's like, I'm gonna gift you back this little gold heart necklace because you need it right now. You need it for strength to like hold up this like pail of water. This is also where we find out that Van and Thaisa are a couple. They are honestly a very, very cute couple, and they do... I don't understand how they weren't dating prior to the plane crash, because apparently, like, nobody knew about it. I don't know if they were, like, secretly dating prior to everything. Nat and Travis are now officially, like, together because they're, like, hooking up and everything. That I was excited for. Am I gonna love a little romance with a man? Yes!
Of
like,
course.
Yes! I am gonna enjoy it.
Of course. What am I?
It's gonna be fun.
I'm a simple girl. Like, of course, I love strong female characters. Of course, I love, you know, stories centering around women, but...
The girls all decide to hold a seance for this mystery man that died in the cabin. But Lottie does not take this whole seance well. Like, they're literally sitting around this circle with candles lit, and they're asking, like, silly questions at first, until Javi then has to, like, ruin the vibe, like, the ultimate vibe killer, and he's like, are we all gonna die here? As to which then they are, like, asking for the wilderness to provide them with an answer. Lottie starts repeating over and over again, it wants, it wants, it wants, it wants. Then she starts speaking French, which apparently Jackie's like, oh, she sucks at French. So then Lottie's sitting there and says that you must spill blood before she slams her head on the window. At the same time, simultaneously, Coach Ben throws up a lot. And immediately you're like, oh my God, something supernatural has to be happening. Like, Laura Lee runs up and like throws a Bible immediately at Lottie. And you think like clearly there is some supernatural element to this all. However, you have to remember, Lottie is literally not on her medication. And Misty also drugged Coach Ben. It just happened to be a coincidence that both of those things happened at once. I do seem like a vibe killer because I'm so like, it's not supernatural. Like, I'm gonna look at this rationally and everything, but like, I mean, it is all a coincidence. And you know what? Maybe my OCD therapy is working. If I would have watched this show a few years ago, I would have been like, everything is a sign. It's all connected. But now I'm like, no. I'm like, all right, guys.
You're like, I fought the demons and I fucking won. Like, they're not beating me again. Like, are you kidding me?
Coach Ben is starting to like really fear Misty because he's like, oh shit, she's capable of a lot. Like, I'm not able to easily get around anymore with only one leg. Clearly, I am outnumbered by all of these girls, and Misty is a fucking freak of nature. I'm gonna play into this a little bit so that she goes easy on me and start saying to Misty, what if we keep this like little relationship like a secret? When in reality, he has absolutely no interest in Misty whatsoever. Thaisa then grills Shauna about being pregnant because Thaisa caught Shauna faking her period with deer blood. Shauna was like, oh my God, my period just came late. Like, we were in a plane crash. Thaisa should have minded her own fucking business. I mean, as a teen girl, like, your period is not like that consistent. Like, I would not be surprised that if she just happened to miss her period.
Yeah, like, don't you lose it in like stressful times as well? And like without eating as much, like you can lose it.
My period was not consistent when I was a teenager. Like, I used to have my period for like 2.5 weeks at a time sometimes. It was like really fucking bad. but
oh my,
that was not
no.
normal. But like,
I'm like, ooh.
I know. We do see a flashback then of young Lottie sitting in the car with her parents, and she starts screaming out of nowhere right before a car accident happens right in front of her. We're clearly like, okay, maybe Lottie does have special powers. So her dad is insistent that she's sick and that she clearly needs to go to a psychiatrist, while her mom is like, there are some things in this world that you just cannot explain. One of the funniest scenes, but one of the most difficult scenes that I had to watch as someone who's scared of pregnancy is Shauna give birth to a rotisserie chicken in her dream. And then everyone eats the rotisserie chicken. Shauna and Jackie start talking about Jeff. At this time, Jackie still does not know that Shauna is pregnant, especially does not know that Shauna slept with Jeff. But Jackie's like, damn, like, you know, it really sucks. Like, we're out here in the wilderness and everything. And like, I made Jeff wait, like I made him be a virgin and everything. Then we fast forward to a scene of Nat and Travis making out in the plane where people have died.
It like fucking stinks like booty cheeks in there.
And you're out there literally like sticking each other's tongues down each other's throat. I know your breath tastes bad. Thaisa then goes into the attic and sees a bra laying there with the underwire taken out of it. Instead of assuming, you know, like, yeah, underwire is uncomfortable, I'm gonna remove the underwire, she immediately assumes the worst and thinks that Shauna is trying to terminate her pregnancy. And she was right. Thaisa's trying to leave to go find Shauna because she feels like she's in danger. Lottie stops her and she's like, were you eating dirt last night? And Thaisa's like, what the fuck? No, I was not fucking eating dirt. You're insane. Spoiler alert, she was in fact eating dirt. But that is kind of touched on more in like the adult timeline. Ty tries to help Shauna with ending the pregnancy, but Shauna says that she can't go through with it. But she also doesn't want to die. It's a very complicated situation, but in the end, she does decide on keeping up with the pregnancy. Lottie then confronts Laura Lee and is like, I think I'm seeing things. I saw Thaisa eating dirt the night before. Can we talk about Christianity? Let's talk about God for a hot second. And Laura Lee is like, all right, we're gonna baptize you in the river. While Lottie is getting baptized, she has these visions that she's underground in some sort of tunnel with a bunch of candles. And when she is coming out of the water, she sees Laura Lee's face like burning up, like she sees a fire behind it. She's like, fuck, I just saw your face like literally exploding. And Laura Lee's like, yay, Holy Spirit, he's here. Nat and Travis are like once again like hooking up in the nasty ass plane. Travis starts to get like really fucking annoying. Like he should honestly shut up and like stop talking, and then I would like him as a character a lot more. Basically, in short, he's like, all right, you fucking slut, like what number am I? Like if we sleep together, like what number am I?
He's like they're in the middle of the woods and he's like, body count.
No, truly, I'm like, does that
body count?
Does that matter right now? Like you're about to die. Like maybe like get one first.
You guys are both desperate enough and like sexually aroused enough to want to have sex in these conditions.
Nat opens up and she's like, I've literally only ever been with 2 other guys, and one of them was like a lot older than me, and it was not a good experience. So she's like feeling comfortable enough to like open up to him. Thaisa insists that she's gonna go south by herself because eventually they're gonna run out of any type of resources. They're going to hit winter. She needs to eventually go find civilization so that they can live, and she says that anybody can go join her if they so choose. Lottie ends up having a dream about red smoke and a river filled with blood, and she gives Van piece of bone to give as like a symbolism or as a token to keep her safe. At this point, the people who go south are Ty, Misty, Van, Akila, and Mari. Jackie realizes that Sean is acting very weird, and Jackie's like, clearly you're acting different. You're not acting like my best friend anymore. What is going on? Still has no idea that, you know, she is pregnant with Jeff's baby. Shauna finally admits to Jackie, okay, I am pregnant. I didn't tell you I did lose my virginity. And it's to Randy, who is this like fucking freak who we then see like in the adult timeline, which is like so funny that he's still like somehow around and like actually very relevant. As everyone leaves south, other people go to the lake. Nat and Travis are literally about to get it on. Nat and Travis are about to have sex for the first time, and Travis is being so goddamn annoying. Every single scene that Travis is in, it's like literally the most annoying. Like he is in the annoying Olympics. Like he would win every single time. Because then he runs away because he can't get hard, and then he's like mean to her. So while on this hike down south, they do end up finding a red river, which immediately people were like, oh my god, Lottie literally was talking about a river filled with blood. Misty brings up that iron deposits can actually change water color, so it must just be the iron. And the compass also starts to not work, which Misty's like, it must also be the iron. It must just be like fucking with the compass. Jackie ends up finding Shauna's diary and reading all of it, and then discovering that Shauna is in fact pregnant with Jeff's baby. Van literally gets like attacked by a fucking pack of wolves, and Ty shoots a flare gun, which is the red smoke that Lottie had seen in her dreams. And Ty starts to beat up the wolf. Truly. Meanwhile, like, Van's face is gone. Like, Van has no face left. Like, that shit is absolutely gone, which I'm gonna say something a little maybe hypercritical. Obviously, I understand it's a show, but her face would not fucking look like that if she got attacked by wolves.
Oh, absolutely not. And like, I don't even mean this in like an insensitive way. I mean this in like the most realistic way. Like, the only outcome of her face by being mauled by an animal, especially a large predator animal like that, is the woman who was attacked by Travis the chimp.
They made her look so beautiful. Like, they made her look like literally like nothing ever happened to her. No, you're 100% right. I mean, I understand, like, it is a show, and like they had to keep the plot line going, and they had to keep Van alive. Spoiler alert, Van does live, even though like right afterwards they like literally are like, all right, time to cook her. We have to burn her body, like we have to. Nat then sees Coach Ben at the river and just immediately like clocks him about being gay. Like, she's like, oh, you're gay, right? So they talk a little bit about his boyfriend Paul, and then Nat is like, wait, can I ask you a question? Like, is Travis like maybe gay? Like, he couldn't get it up the other day. Which is just wild, a wild ass conversation to have with your coach. So the team that decided to go down south decides to come back up because they're like, well, we gotta make sure Van lives. Like, we gotta get her back to the base. So down at the lake, Travis and Jackie end up talking together. And she's like super pissed off because she's like, oh my God, Shauna just really screwed me over. And Travis is like, you know, like, I think I like fucked stuff up with Nat because like I couldn't get it up. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, that is quite literally what it was like. She was like, Nat's a slut. She hooked up with Bobby Farley. He sucks ass. Like, he's so fucking old. And Travis immediately gets pissed off because he's like, Bobby Farley, the man who said that I can suck my own dick. Oh, fuck Nat for that. And they had a literal fight over this. Like, she's like, I wasn't with you. Like, I didn't know you. So Laura Lee is convinced that she can fly back to civilization because Van needs medical attention. Which then Jackie is like, well, Shauna also needs medical attention. Like, tell them, Shauna, like, you have a bun in the oven, and just completely outs her to everyone. So Laura Lee straps a little stuffed animal by her side in the plane. She's like, let's go, Leonard. Like, we're gonna fucking do this together. And she makes it up. She makes it out into the sky, and she's successful. And as soon as they're over the river, literally Leonard catches on fire and the whole plane blows up. The girlies start getting hungry, so they're like, all right, we need to do something about this. So we're gonna start eating worms. They also decide to plan a Doomcoming, which is a mix between like a Doom homecoming, because all of them had dresses for, you know, when they were going to national. Misty decides to ask Ben if he can go to the dance with her. Like, she's still convinced like that is her boyfriend, like that is her secret little boyfriend. And Jackie says to Shauna that she is going to make it her mission to not die a virgin, so she is gonna sleep with Travis. Misty also finds out that her little special mushrooms that she had in order to drug Coach Ben were accidentally put into the stew. So everyone's about to get drugged on shrooms. Travis and Jackie were like dancing already at the Doomcoming, but she's like, let's go somewhere a little bit more private. I was literally screaming at my TV when Jackie and Travis were sleeping together. All the girls find out that Jackie and Travis are hooking up, and they all go apeshit because they're literally on shrooms. They all decide to hunt down Travis and Jackie, and they're like, look, she lost her virginity. Look, there's blood on her dress. Oh my God. Travis is also high, and they all start taking turns making out with Travis. Misty tries to then kiss Coach Ben, and he pushes her off and has like the most iconic little mini monologue ever, where he's like, Misty, I'm gay.
I like how he waited that long to tell her.
They do end up finding Travis, trap him, gag him with a pine cone. Lottie puts on this set of antlers, kind of being the antler queen, if you will. And Lottie is encouraging everyone to basically attack him until Natalie literally saves Travis. The next morning, while everyone literally has like major anxiety about the way that they acted the night before, and they realize that, oh God, we took shrooms by accident, a bear comes out of the forest randomly and just like surrenders himself in front of Lottie, and she like stabs the bear, and now they have food. If I was Lottie in this situation, I would be like, oh my God, I have powers. If I was anybody else in this situation, I would be like, oh my God, Lottie has powers, absolutely. Jackie then confronts Shauna about Shauna literally being pregnant with Jeff's baby. And Shauna's just being like flat out mean. Like she's like, you're boring. You peaked in high school. You're a fucking loser. I feel bad for you. It's like, okay, girl, like you don't have that much room to talk.
Like you're impregnated with her boyfriend's sperm. Like, what are you talking about?
But then like everybody sides with Shauna. Like Shauna stands her ground and she's like, you need to go, you need to leave. And everybody just like rides for Shauna and they're like, yeah, maybe you should go. Like, but then again, like people are a bit annoyed with Jackie, you know, because they're like, oh my God, she stole Travis from Nat and she wasn't pulling her weight on the team. Shauna then brings Jackie back in from the cold and tells her, you know, I'm sorry for what I did. I love you. You're such an amazing friend to me. You'll find out it was all a dream. Because Yellowjackets loves doing the whole it was all a dream thing. Laura Lee is literally there and is like, see, it's not that bad after all. And then we realize like, oh my God, no, this isn't like real life. The season ends with Lottie giving the bear heart to the sacrifice tree as an offering with Van and Misty behind her. Like we're like, okay, Jackie's dead. Also like Lottie's fully going in on this whole wilderness and giving to it idea basically. Season 2 starts off with Nat and Travis getting ready to brave the winter and go and hunt. Lottie does her, as Nat says, Wicca bullshit to protect them, basically going through this whole ritual to keep Nat and Travis safe when they go out into the wilderness and hunt early in the morning in the winter. But you can tell that Travis appreciates it, but you can see that Natalie is not really buying into any of this shit, that it's real, but she's participating in it. This is when we see Lottie starting to draw that famous symbol in the window. We also see a flashback, or I guess we should say a flash forward to 1998, the surviving members being interviewed by press. So we see Shauna, Lottie, Nat, Misty, and Thaisa. We also see Lottie post-wilderness getting sent to shock therapy. Shauna, on the other hand, maybe she needed shock therapy because she keeps going to the meat shack. That's what they call it, the meat shack, and going to play with Jackie's dead corpse. She even starts then like fighting with Jackie's corpse. Like she's full on hallucinating, like having conversations with her. Literally knocks her ear off, to which then Shauna puts her little ear in her pocket. Travis and Nat attempt to look for Javi out in the snow because ever since the night of Doomcoming and Shauna literally saying to Javi, run, and Javi's like high on shrooms, we never see Javi again. Nat has absolutely no hope that Javi is still alive because we're obviously in the dead of winter. Travis even hallucinates finding him dead. We're slowly starting to see every single character in this show start to hallucinate. And I feel like that's important to note, you know, when we start to think like, you know, is this paranormal or not? Travis starts to have a panic attack back at the cabin where Lottie starts to comfort him and give him some relief. And after literally having a panic attack, Travis is hard. And people were like, that can happen after a panic attack. I don't give a rat's ass. Shut up. You're awful. You're terrible, Travis.
Why do they keep making him do the weird things? Like
I know.
They always made him have such weird correlations to like sex, and like this is like a weird example and like one-off where it's like the man is really sexualized. Like all of his scenes really do, and like his storylines really do revolve around some sort of like innate sexualization.
That's true.
Which I think, you know, in any like, you know, normal world scenario, it's bad to sexualize someone, right? But I think in this world of Yellowjackets, it flips the whole script on its head, and I find it to be very interesting that his role gets sexualized so much. Like everything that he does revolves around it in some way.
And it's not any of the women. Like normally you would see that about like one woman. Like, I mean, like the first thing that I think of immediately is like Cassie from Euphoria. There's so many scenes of her where she is just so immensely sexualized. Like Travis is kind of like the Cassie of Yellowjackets.
Right. I think it was like a very interesting trope to put him in, that like his storylines really do come back to being this like romance partner for them.
Yes.
And not in like a heroic way. It doesn't really save them.
No.
It's very much of like a sexual desire he places, except for like Natalie. Natalie's the only one that actually has like a care for him, whereas everyone else kind of views him as like airport crash vibes.
Yes. Lottie is very insistent on telling Travis that Rafiee is alive. Like, Rafiee is out there. Rafiee is somewhere alive. And this idea that she is this leader with visions and that she can see things and she is this all-knowing and oracle is like definitely coming true, which Nat ends up being very upset with Lottie for saying that Rafiee may be alive, because this puts Travis in a real predicament if, you know, Rafiee isn't actually alive. Nat and Travis, while on one of their hunting runs, end up finding a tree in the dead of winter with moss growing on it, with steam coming out of it, and without any snow on it whatsoever. And then the episode ends off with Shauna eating Jackie's ear, like literally like pulling it out of her bucket and like nibbling it. Taissa is also really struggling with sleepwalking at this time, and Van really believes that Lottie may be able to help her. Van is a big believer in Lottie and her powers. Taissa is not a believer that Lottie has any powers whatsoever. Taissa then figures out what Shauna is doing by playing with Jackie's body. They need to get rid of Jackie's body after 2 months of it sitting there. It's literally just been sitting in this meat shack because Shauna's having trouble mourning, and also the ground is literally frozen because they are in the dead of winter. So Nat decides to steal a pair of Javie's jeans one day and put her own blood on it, and then claim that she found it in the woods as an attempt to let Travis come to terms with Rafiee most likely being dead. And Lottie cannot come to terms with this. Like, she's like, no, I feel him. Like, I feel Rafiee literally still being alive. Like, there's no way that he is dead. All the girls make a fire pit to basically burn Jackie's body. And there's, you know, conversation and a fight on whether her clothes should be taken off of her or not. Personally, me, like, if I was dead, like, take my fucking clothes, like, be warmer, like, take my fucking Letterman jacket. I don't need that shit. Shauna does not handle the burning of Jackie very, very well. And Travis decides to use this time as a time to say goodbye to Rafiee, where he also puts that pair of pants in with the burning. Of course, Travis and Nat always know the best time to hook up. Like, they always know the most appropriate time. Like, they really know how to get in the mood. They start to hook up post brother's death and burning of Jackie. And the whole time, he's literally picturing Lottie. Like, he literally is hallucinating and seeing Lottie in the room the entire time. In the midst of Nat/Lottie sex with Travis and Jackie cremation, a huge pile of snow from the branches falls miraculously onto Jackie's body, creating the perfect temperature in order to slow cook her. I don't know how that shit works, but somehow it worked, because everybody wakes up in the middle of the night is like, holy shit, it smells like Thanksgiving. What is that smell? It smells absolutely delectable. We all need to go outside. Shauna rubs her belly and she literally says, she wants us to, referring to, I think, Jackie, that Jackie wants us to. And then followed by like this beautiful scene where they are all like Greek gods and goddesses, and they're all feasting on this beautiful meal, because that's what it feels like to them. And Coach Ben is like hiding behind a pillar, like full on like terrified, like shitless, like literally clutching his pearls, because he's like, these girls are insane. Like, so the next morning, Taissa has absolutely no recollection of eating Jackie's body at all. But Van is like, girl, you were in there and you ate her face. Taissa's like throwing up, which, why was she throwing up? Save that shit. You should not be throwing up. Coach Ben is convinced that the girls see him as a target because he is weaker than all of them. Since people are so upset about the lack of food, Lottie and Nat decide to have a competition on who can go out and get game the fastest. However, Nat has the opportunity to use her gun that she has been using for hunting, and everyone is convinced that Lottie can go out and hunt and get food because the wilderness will just bring it to her. Lottie starts hallucinating in the wilderness that she is at the mall and she is with all the girls. Meanwhile, Van and Taissa are going around and looking at all these trees that have the symbol on it, because she apparently is sleepwalking to all of these trees in the middle of the night. And this is when they find Rafiee alive and okay. Once again, the symbol is brought up, this omen is brought upon, and Rafiee is alive and well. Lottie is in full cult vibe now. Lottie is like fully in this and believes that the people believe in her powers and that she is powerful, and that if she just listens to the wilderness, then the wilderness will hear them. Misty confides in her friend Crystal that she has had for a while now, which honestly still could be a hallucination. They're going out to take the shit bucket out, dump it over the cliff. Misty decides to confide in Crystal. She broke the emergency locator service box, to which then Crystal was not having it. Crystal was like, you're a fucking freak for that. And I fucking hate you. Misty pushes up against her. She doesn't push her over the cliff. Crystal does fall, but she wouldn't have fallen if Misty hadn't gotten so close. As one life goes out, Shauna then goes into labor. Naturally, who would help with labor? Not literally the health teacher, Coach Ben, but Misty, the real fucking nurse. But Misty can't handle it for the first time in her life. She can't fucking handle it. She could handle literally a bone sticking out of someone's leg. She could handle cutting Coach Ben's leg off, but birth was too much for her apparently, and she taps out. So who taps in? Aquila. Aquila, for some backstory, has been literally playing with a little dead mouse for the last few days and keeping it in her pocket.
She got tagged in and she stepped up to the plate, and if you're not willing to accept dead rat hands, then you obviously don't want to have the baby enough.
When she wakes up from being unconscious, we do find out that Shauna's baby does not end up making it. And we start off the next episode with Shauna being inconsolable, giving her baby a funeral. Misty tells everyone that Crystal is gone and everybody needs to be looking for Crystal, knowing damn well she is gone and dead. So the group starts talking about the wilderness, listening and giving them what they want when they ask for it, like how it allowed for Shauna to live for a sacrifice of her baby, essentially, for the wilderness, or how maybe Crystal is dead in exchange for the blizzard stopping. Misty, while going to look for Crystal, ends up finding Coach Ben standing at the edge of the cliff, thinking about taking his own life. Like literally he's like steps away, and Misty's like, I'm gonna threaten him the only way that I know how to threaten him. And she's like, if you kill yourself, I'm literally gonna tell everyone that we dated and that we were in love, which is like terrifying enough.
She doesn't even threaten that it's like, oh, you were sleeping with a student. She's like, you want people to know that you were with me?
I know, that would have been enough for me to be like, all right, I'm not gonna do it. That just saved me. I will tell everyone that we were in love, and I'll actually tell them that you were gay. He is so in deep and so depressed. He does not care about it at this point. Like, he is like, I've gone through enough. Like, I cannot do this. Eventually, what ends up breaking him out of this whole spell of, you know, being suicidal is Misty being like, I can't have another dead person on my hands. Like, the weight of this all is way too much, because in the past days, she has experienced the death of Shauna's baby. On top of that, Crystal, and she doesn't want Coach Ben on her hands as well. So Shauna desperately needs something to take her anger out on. Lottie's like, okay, like, you can take your anger out on me because your baby died. Shauna beats the fuck out of her, which she didn't have to go so hard for. Like, she didn't just beat her up, she like nearly killed her. Natalie and Ben end up talking about how Lottie is basically controlling the entire group. Since Lottie is offering her body for them to stay alive, everyone agrees, like, we don't want to eat Lottie. So they come up with this genius and brilliant idea where they're going to hand out a deck of cards, and anybody who gets the queen card with the eyes crossed out is chosen to be sacrificed. That is the wilderness choosing that person. Which is funny because in the background of a scene earlier, you can literally hear someone saying, oh wow, this deck of cards has no queen cards. So the only person who gets the queen card is Natalie. And the gold necklace is placed around her neck before she's sacrificed. So it's like, oh my God, is that what's happening? It kind of makes you finally connect all the dots, and you're like, Pit Girl was sacrificed. While on the run, Coach Ben ends up finding this special tree with the steam coming out of it, with the moss growing on it, this hot spot in the forest in the dead of winter. During this time, Javi ends up running into Natalie and helping her escape because he knows the routes of the wilderness better than she does, considering that he spent months out there alone. He like literally just like helps Natalie, and he literally breaks through the ice. While Nat is like trying to actively save his life and like pull him out of the water, everyone starts telling her to stop. And Misty specifically is like, you need to not save him because this is your only chance at living. Like, this is your chance of you not being hunted down. Instead, it's gonna be Javi. The wilderness has chosen, and Javi was the chosen one. Which then leads us into the final episode. Lottie is not pleased with the fact that Javi was the chosen one. He was not supposed to be this chosen one. Coach Ben is like absolutely disgusted with the girls and what they're doing, and like insisting that Nat can go and run away with him and go be in this like secret special hotspot tree. And that's when Travis is then offered Javi's raw heart, which he eats that shit up. He ate it the fuck up.
It almost seemed like traditional in a way that he had to consume his heart first before they could all feast on him.
They literally cook up Javi's body and ate him. Nat is then crowned as the antler queen because the wilderness did not allow for them to kill her, so they see her as special, especially Lottie. Like, she's like, clearly, like, you have a gift. And we spend, you know, the whole 2 seasons like wondering who the fuck is this antler queen that we see in the beginning, like, who is she? Everyone thinks that it's Lottie because of this importance, when in reality it was Nat this whole entire time. In the middle of the night, while everyone else is sleeping, the entire cabin is set on fire, which we are left to believe that the only person who could have done this is Coach Ben, setting the cabin on fire because of how pissed he is at the girls for what they are doing. I do feel like it's an obvious theory that, you know, Coach Ben had started the fire. I think there will be an idea that everyone is hunting for each other, but maybe Nat and Lottie will have amnesty since Nat is seen as this antler queen. Meanwhile, Lottie is obviously this like all-knowing being. And since it does follow the adult timeline, we do roughly know who is alive. We don't know everybody who is alive. We still don't know the fate of people like Coach Ben, for example. Now I'll read some fan theories, since Trin, you said that you haven't dove into any of the fan theories.
No, I've honestly, like, I've just kind of been spitballing out here, like, thinking of my own stuff. I'm like, what if this happened? Like, honestly, I like really just watched it like through, and then I was like, I took it for what it is, and then I started questioning a little later, but I didn't do any fan theories.
A lot of people think that the cabin guy is very important. I mean, considering that we do see him a few times pop in here and there, like with hallucinations of him, but a lot of people think that he was this terrible person who perhaps maybe murdered people in the woods, which could explain the erratic behavior of the teenagers, because maybe the cabin's past is somehow influencing them. And that's why Lottie always keeps repeating, like, something really bad happened here, like something really evil happened here. And maybe this is why Ben had tried to burn down the cabin to see if their behavior would stop, if he would put a stop to this. There's also another theory that maybe the guy who is the cabin guy, perhaps, this is personally, like, I do believe in this theory. I just don't know if this would actually happen because, you know, considering that it is such like a widely known theory amongst Yellowjacket fans, that I don't know if the writers would go with this, but that perhaps the cabin guy had an underground mine, because mines were very popular in Canada, especially like in the woods, similar to like the underground tunnels that Lottie had seen in her visions. And perhaps that is what the symbol is. It's just merely just like a map. It's literally just like a literal map of something. And, you know, these girls keep seeing it and think that it's something more important, when in reality it's this mine, and that the minerals from the mine, or like some of the chemicals that are going into the water source, are like contaminating them and making them basically go nuts. Like, that is what is causing them to not be well. And so that is like a very popular theory, that like this guy is just a miner, and that it is like seeping into their food and into their water. And that is why some of the animals also were acting like really crazy. Like, for example, the bear just surrendering and acting stranger, the birds just falling and dying because they're all sick and contaminated the same way that other people are. A lot of people do think that there are no supernatural elements, but that the food and water is contaminated.
Are their behaviors as adults really changing that much? But the 2 people that we see still affected are Taissa and Lottie, and maybe they got affected in a way in the woods by like whatever's poisoning them, because they had diagnoses of like illnesses that they faced, and then they have like an extreme reaction to it. I could also see that being like a case of like maybe something was revealed when the cabin is burned, if it is something underground, maybe like some sort of like door or like you know, opening to it might be revealed.
Low-grade mercury poisoning is like another big theory, because apparently low-grade mercury poisoning causes hallucinations, strange behaviors. And also a lot of people were like, what is happening with this tree? Like these trees that have like these hot spots and steam. But apparently fires can travel through tree roots underground and pop up days or weeks later.
Definitely, like, circling back, like, I hope it's not a supernatural force. And I also kind of don't want it to be some sort of like human factor that's planting these things to make them, like, orchestrating it almost. Like, I don't know if you ever saw like The Wilds.
Oh, it's similar to this, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like they're stranded on an island, and it turns out that it's like they're not stranded. They were like put there as an experiment to see how girls would act in a confined space. And so it's like, I would not like that if there was like a human person like orchestrating their suffering for 15 months and seeing how they act in the woods. That would actually make me go crazy.
I'm so excited for this new season, and like, I mean, if the new season comes out and you guys want Trin and I to make a video on season 3, we will make a video on season 3.
Trust, like, we will be here.
Thank you so much, Trin, for being a part of this.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. I feel so honored to be here. It was such an honor to witness everything happening. I wanted to like sit back and enjoy and watch.
No, Trin's a trooper. She sat here for 3 fucking hours and watched me talk. I'm so sorry it has taken this long. Please make sure to go watch Trin's video on her channel. It'll be up the same time that this video is out, so make sure to go watch that. Trin, do you want to plug anything?
You guys can find me on my YouTube channel, Trin Lovell, Lovell, and you can find all of my other links there and watch our video that we did on my channel.
If you guys like this video, please make sure they leave it a like. It helps out so much. Also, leave a comment. Anything that we may have missed, your favorite characters from Yellowjackets. I would love to hear fan theories about Yellowjackets in the comments down below. Make sure you subscribe if you want to be nasty. If not, you're disgusting. Also, make sure you have your bell notifications on so you know every single time I post, or else you are gross. I have a podcast that comes out every other Monday. And if you want to follow me on my other social media, Instagram, Twitter, Depop, Spotify, it's just at Nicole Rafiee. And if you want to follow me on my TikTok, it's at Nikki Nasty. Trin and I are going to go and maybe just have to start another show about close proximity girl shows and movies.
There's so many. They're Wilds, Orange and the Black. We can do a lot.
Trin and I have to do Orange is the New Black, Chronically Online Girl.